Happy 37th birthday to the defending Australian Open champion and world number 2, Roger Federer. Oh, you want to hear the song? We learned from last year. No cake this time. Roger, happy birthday to you. Right, Mr. Goat, don't eat the cake! And hit some special birthday music. Welcome to Coffee Break Tennis, Roger Federer's 36th birthday bash edition. Hit it!
Hey Federer, don't you know you've been cordially invited to Roger's birthday bash? Coffee Break's your favorite show. You've been cordially invited to Roger's birthday bash. It's a birthday bash, it's Roger's birthday bash. Yeah, it's a big old bash, yeah, come on. Woo!
Tonight on Coffee Break Tennis, we talk about what's going on at the Rogers Cup, of course, where Roger is not playing. We look at the stats that Roger had up to this point. We're at the halfway mark of the tennis year, last year versus this year. Some interesting differences there. And we talk about some young players like Tsitsipas.
Oh, magnificent!
Stefanos Tsitsipas, Francis Tiafoe, young players like that, and some old players like Andy Murray and Stanislav the Manislaw Wawrinka. We also got a pretty sweet meltdown clip from Benoit Paire last week that I just couldn't let disappear since we didn't do a show last week. Let's get into it. Mr. Goat says, before I say anything else, show the clip of Benoit Paire. Benoit Paire, this is kind of like the saber. This is the surrender apparent by Paire, the CBP. So note the block of the serve on match point into the ground. That is the surrender apparent by Paire, CBP. And a nice round of applause for the victor.
Let's give a big round of applause to our winner tonight, from Cyprus, Marcos Bagdanis.
But hey, let's not forget tonight's runner-up, Benoit Paire.
Let's also give a warm round of applause to his opponent tonight from France, Benoit Paire.
And the classy move from Benoit Paire, blowing kisses to the booing crowd. That was amazing. But that was not the most important thing to come out of the tournament. The most important thing, I believe, was Stefanos Tsitsipas having his first meeting with Alexander Sasha Zverev. Even though Zverev won it in straight sets, there was a 4-all game in that second set that was like over 15 minutes long. And of course, Tsitsipas just got another big win in his career over Dominic Thiem. That is his third top 10 win of this year, and he will be playing Novak Djokovic very soon in Canada at the Rogers Cup. So we'll talk about that later. First, let's talk about Roger Federer. You like that, Mr. Goat? 2007, put this on the screen. This is from Omar, whose birthday is tomorrow, so he's in on the birthday bash. You're cordially invited to Roger and Omar tomorrow's birthday bash. Tomorrow, I'll be driving all the way to Cincinnati with Peter Freeman from Crunch Time Coaching, and we will be in town for Roger Federer's return. Me and Mr. Goat, very excited, although Mr. Goat will be watching here from Coffee Break Tennis Studios. So let's look at the results stats since 2017 for Roger Federer. So this is Omar put this together for us. Thank you very much, Omar. And hey, how about everybody goes out there and follows Omar on the Twitters? By the way, while you're here, hit subscribe down below. Give us a thumbs up. Ring the bell. Do all that stuff. Follow us on the Twitters at Coffee Break Tens, T-E-N-S. And if you follow us on the Twitters, definitely follow Omar, friend of the show, at the Omar of Oz. Kind of like the Wizard of Oz. The Omar of Oz. Maybe even do it tomorrow on his birthday. Oh, speaking of birthdays, not only is it Roger Federer's birthday, but is it International Cat Day, Mr. Goat? Is it? Mr. Goat says he doesn't care. 2017, Roger's win-loss, 31-2. This year, 29-4. Well, obviously, last year's was better. At the Grand Slams, 14-0. Wish it was like that again, but it's 11-1. Again, these are all the stats up to this point after the conclusion of Wimbledon last year and this year. Tie breaks, 17-5 last year, 13-5. That doesn't look so bad. Versus top 10, this is a big difference. Look at the difference here. I mean, he's only played 4 this far in the year, top 10 players, whereas last year in 2017, Roger played 9. Roger last year was a very impressive 9-0 against players in the top 10. This year, he is 2-2. What else we got? Finals, 5-0 last year, 3-2 this year. Winning more than losing. Deciding third, fifth set, not that different. 5-2 last year, 6-4 this year. I guess you could say last year a little bit better, statistically. A little bit higher winning percentage last year. Sets played 90, this year 89. Pretty similar. This is where things are weird. And, we talked about stats in the last video we did a couple weeks ago, saying, like, look, Roger Federer's got some of the best stats, especially off of his own serve on the tour, on any surface. Obviously not with clay, because he didn't play any clay, but look at it this year. So last year, 62% first serve in. This year, it's gone up, 64. Last year, win on first serve, 80. It's gone up, 82. Last year, win on second serve, 59. This year, 61. The results, the winning results, they're all last year. The winning stats numbers, they're this year. Very, very weird. First serve return percentage, 32 win on first serve return. This year, 32. That stayed the same. This is the only thing that dips down on the stats here. Second serve win percentage, return win percentage, 51 last year. This year, only down to 50. It's pretty good. Not so bad. Return games won, 27% last year, down 3%. That's the worst thing in here. Other than that, everything else is up 2 to 3%. And finally, Omar wraps us up with on-court time. Last year, just under 60 hours. This year, just under 58 hours. So 1 less match, 2 less hours. Makes sense to me. So comment below if you have any idea how to make sense of that very weird thing. The only thing I can think of is it's just like that very weird phenomenon. What was the name of it? There was a theory for it. I can't remember now, but the statistical anomaly that Roger Federer has completed is this very weird thing where he has so many matches that he has lost but still won more points than his opponent. And they explain, some people would say, well, this is the sign that Roger's not mentally as tough as a Rafa or a Djokovic. And I think the data points to something else. It just simply says Roger Federer is more likely to hold serve at love than anybody else. And he's more likely to come close to breaking your serve without breaking it very often because he just wins a lot of points. So it's just another thing to show that the guy is pretty good at tennis. So comment below, why do you think, what has been the thing that's missing? Roger's taking care of his serve. He's doing pretty well in return. I mean, obviously breaking serve is so key. Maybe if Roger Federer wins 27% of return games last year, but 24% this year, maybe that 3% is the reason why he couldn't break Kevin Anderson in the 5th set at Wimbledon in the quarterfinals. Is it just that simple? Is it the fact that he's doing all these things just as well, if not a little better than last year, that he's giving himself opportunities to do great things? He won a major. I mean, it's not like the whole year's a failure, but just not quite winning on return as frequently? It's puzzling. But the good news is everyone's going to Cincinnati pretty soon. Oh my goodness. Is Kevin Anderson about to get Donskoy debacled in Canada? The weather's been crazy there. It was even worse in Washington, D.C. Of course, Andy Murray had to play a match that finished at 3 a.m. Even though he won, he said, I'm out of this tournament because if I got to play tomorrow, I just can't do it. I've been through too much trying to recover from my hip injury to have to play a match till 3 a.m. and then come back the next day and play with no sleep. So I totally understand and support the decision there. So Stan, the man, had a match against Nick Kyrgios. Take a look at this. This was a crazy match. So Nick Kyrgios comes out just blasting shots. Watch this little highlight reel I made of some of the crazy shots Nick Kyrgios hit. Look at some of the shots that Stan hits. They're not nearly as cool or flashy or highlight worthy as what Kyrgios is hitting, but they still count for 1 point. Just like all the incredible shots Kyrgios hits, playing smart is always going to win more in the end rather than playing flashy, as we've learned from the great Gaël Monfils. So look at this. This point stands out to me because look at this match point that really, it just seems like a point that Kyrgios could have won and got himself in a tiebreaker in that 3rd set, maybe. So no surprise, Nick Kyrgios still amazing us and still disappointing us all at the same time. Let's talk about the young guns. We talked about the Fed stats. So this guy, Felix Auger-Aliassime. So this young guy, it's his birthday too. It's not just Roger's birthday today, but today's the 18th birthday of Felix Auger-Aliassime. I think I'm saying it right. Comment below if you're aus Frankreich and can tell me if I said that right. Or I guess if you're from Canada, but it's clearly a French name. Donskoy debacle is about to go up 6-5 on Kevin Anderson in the third. It's getting interesting. Alexander Sasha Zverev wins. So yeah, let's talk about Tsitsipas. Beat Dominic Thiem. I said earlier, third top 10 win of the year. Tsitsipas was really impressive to watch in Washington, D.C. He lost in, the semifinals, I think? Yeah, he lost in the semifinals to Sasha Zverev. That also impressive, another young guy. Alex de Minaur from Australia, remember he did really well in the hard court tournaments, warming up the ATP 250s like Brisbane, going into the Australian Open at the beginning of this year. So nice to see him on the hard courts again and doing very well. He's exciting. He made it all the way to the final. But his match didn't feel like he had a chance like the way I felt. That second set, Tsitsipas really should have come up with that. Just take a look at this one incredible shot. There were so many shots I could have picked from that 4-all game in the second set, which I believe was 15 to 20-minute long game. Pretty epic game. Of course, Zverev eventually breaks, holds to win that match. Look at this shot. One thing I was thinking during this whole match was,
we all love a diving volley. He got it wrong earlier in the week. He got it right there.
Horizontal to the ground. It doesn't get any better than that.
Tsitsipas can do a lot of the things that Zverev can do, right? Tsitsipas can bang a big serve like Zverev. Zverev's location with the serve, his placement with the serve is obviously a little better, but Tsitsipas he's 19. A lot of these young guys like Felix Auger-Aliassime, he's turning 18. Shapovalov, how old is he? Was he 19 also? Something like that. A lot of young guys to be excited about right now. And Francis Tiafoe, of course, he's the guy that Roger said to look out for. Roger was asked a couple months ago, I think it was, said, who do you think is these next-gen guys is going to be really good? He said, look out for Francis Tiafoe because he's kind of like Gael Monfils' freakish athletic ability, so hopefully he can put it together a little better than Monfils. So, Stefanos Tsitsipas, very impressive win. Third top 10 win, as I said before, over a third win of the year over a top 10 player. This time the victim, Dominic Thiem, aus Österreich. Most impressive to me was Tsitsipas had a couple match points in the second set tiebreaker. Didn't win them. Lost those chances. Still manages to win. That's pretty tough to do, especially for a 19-year-old. Comment below if you're like me and starting to think like, you know what, Roger? Oh, there's Felix. He's walking on the court now. I'm excited to stay up and watch this guy who's turning 18 tonight. It's his birthday on center court in Canada. Sounded really cool when I said on center court in Canada. Not as cool when you say in Canada. Hey, it's cool. It's super cool. It's a Masters 1000. I don't care where in the world it is. It's always cool when it's a Masters 1000, baby. Anyway, so comment below. What do you think about all these young guns? Are you as excited as I am? I'm starting to get pretty excited. I'm really hoping to see something in Cincinnati like Tsitsipas versus Roger Federer. That would be pretty cool, I think. Everyone better have their eyes on Tsitsipas versus Novak Djokovic. We might learn a lot about this young man from that match. We haven't seen Novak play anyone tough who could challenge him on the hard courts of Canada yet. We'll definitely see some of that in Cincinnati. I'm hoping we get to see a Djokovic and Federer match in Cincinnati. That would be a dream. Tsitsipas is a guy that I've had a lot of faith in since I first saw him. I thought, like, wow, this guy's pretty amazing. Because one of the things was he's 6'3", which is interesting because Alexander Sasha Zverev, I think he's either 6'6" or 6'5". I think that makes such a big difference. Because one, you get the bonus of that giant, like as I watch Kevin Anderson serve, you're taller. You got that extra trajectory. It's a little tougher to return. So he's got a little bit of that going on. You know, most of our great players like Roger and Rafa, Pete Sampras, they're 6'1". I think Djokovic 6'2". So Tsitsipas is like a 6'3.5". So right, the commentators, if you've been watching like me, some commentators say he's 6'5", some say 6'4". He's listed on the Google as 6'3". Let's call him 6'3.5". He's not as big as the Giants to get a little slowed down, to have his footwork suffer. Tsitsipas' footwork looks very good. 19-year-old, 6'3", Forehand is incredible. The backhand is good, and it can get better. There's like a lot of room there. The serve is really good. He needs to place it a little better, but he's got the pop on it. I'd say Tsitsipas got just about as much pop as Sasha Zverev does. So imagine someone like Sasha Zverev, except he's a little bit shorter, but still pretty much packs that same kind of power game, but can move a little better, won't get as worn down because a little less size, a little less weight. That helps you moving around on the court. And he can volley. That was the big difference I noticed in that match. You saw the highlight at 4-all, this crazy volley that Tsitsipas hits diving. But he had a lot of great volleys. He can do things. Zverev really struggles at the net. So you start to see like, oh, there's more to this game. Kind of like a young Roger Federer. So keep the eye on Tsitsipas. Let's hope, no pressure on him to beat Djokovic right now. But if he could, that would be great. If he just plays a tough match at all, it's a good sign that Tsitsipas might even be a factor a little bit this year at the U.S. Open, and definitely in the coming years might be somebody to be really excited about. Thanks for watching Coffee Break Tennis. We will do a lot more videos than we have been doing with Cincinnati and the return of Roger Federer coming up. Of course, we'll do more videos talking about what's going on in Canada. Speaking of what's going on in Canada, Kevin Anderson 6-0 up in the tiebreak. That's a wrap. And Stan Wawrinka wins the second set tiebreak. So there's hope for these old guys like Andy Murray and Stanimal. There's hope for them after all. They're not done yet, but we are. Thanks for watching, and see ya!